Last night here in Pittsburgh, a triumphant return for the captain, Keith Hernandez, who on a 3-0 pitch hit a 2-run home run deep into the right center field seats that gave the Mets an eventual 3-2 victory over the Pittsburgh Pirates and a 5-game lead in the National League East. New York again got outstanding pitching, and on the final play of the game, a fan interfered with Wally Backman. First base umpire John McSherry properly ruling fan interference, and the Mets won it. Game 2 coming up next on WWOR-TV. Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's Mets Baseball 88 as tonight the Mets take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Mets Baseball 88 is brought to you this evening by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Manufacturers Hanover, the financial source worldwide. By Nissan Cars and Trucks, built for the most important race of all, the human race. By the New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages, the one that works. By the Good Olds Guys, your New York, New Jersey, and Southern Connecticut Oldsmobile dealers. And by the New York Daily News, New York's hometown paper. Pitching for the Mets tonight, right-hander Doc Gooden, 13-6 with an ERA of 2.98. On the mound for the Pirates, it's right-hander Doug Drabek, 10-5 with an ERA of 3.47.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, along with Steve Zabriskie and Tim McCarver, and right here in Pittsburgh, it's Regatta weekend as they have power boats racing down the Allegheny, and no power in the ballpark as the Mets have scored 3 runs or less in 8 of their last 8 games. And also the Pittsburgh Pirates having problems. But the Mets won last night 3-2.
Well, the Pirates have won only 4 of their last 14 ball games. They're 11-11 since the All-Star break. And one bright light for the Pirates has been Doug Drabek. He's won 5 straight. Dwight Gooden, after getting out of the gate winning 8 in a row, has lost 6 of his last 11 decisions. I don't think Gooden has ever gone through this spell since he's started in the big leagues back in 1984.
And he's 1-2 against the Pittsburgh Pirates this year, and Drabek beat him his last time out. We're all set for the ball game. We'll have that game and the lineups for you in just a moment, right after this word from Budweiser. Back here at Three Rivers Stadium, it's Doug Drabek on the mound. Doug with a record of 10-5. He's 1-1 against the Mets this year. He has an earned run average of 3.47. He has worked 147 2/3 innings, giving up 126 hits. He's walked 35, struck out 83. And he has a lifetime record against the Mets of 2 wins and 2 losses.
And the lineup for New York, Lynn Dykstra leading it off, Wally Backman batting second and playing second, Dave Magadan at first base tonight. The reason for that, Keith Hernandez has a tight hamstring. That's right, a tight hamstring after a start last night. Darryl Strawberry in right field hitting 4th, Kevin McReynolds batting 5th, Gary Carter behind the plate hitting 6th, Howard Johnson back in there after being benched last night. He's 4 for his last 49. Kevin Elster hitting 8th, and Dwight Gooden on the mound batting 9th.
And the defense will be Bream at first, Leaned at second base, Belliard at shortstop, Ania at third, Bonds, Van Slyke, and Reynolds in the outfield left to right, and the catcher is LaValliere. The umpires for the game, John McSherry behind home plate, Ed Montague at first, Greg Bonet at second, and the umpire at third is Fred Brocklander. And this ball hit out to the shortstop in the first pitch of the game, sees the first out. Dykstra hitting .304 before the out with 3 home runs and 15 RBIs.
Easy play for Belliard. Rather routine. 1 pitch, routine. High hop, and a chest high throw. Or make that. Wasn't that routine?
Little midget out there, huh? That'll bring up Wally Backman hitting .300. Wally 2 for 5 last night to get to that magical .300 mark. And the fastball for ball 1. Backman with no home runs, 11 runs batted in. Back on May 18th, he was hitting 121, and he has since then hit 357 to get to 300. And the breaking ball, grounded foul. We'll see a lot of breaking balls from Doug Drabek. Drabek has won 5 in a row. Last year, he closed the year out by winning 5 straight games. Has a lifetime record of 28 and 25. And he fits that ball game on August 1st to defeat Dwight Gooden. There's the off-speed pitch. 1-2.
Now Drabek shows you the fastball and tries to get you out with a breaking ball.
One ball, 2 strikes. And again, the breaking ball, it's 2-2. Opposing batters hitting just .235 against Drabek. And again, he comes back and misses, that time with a fastball, and the count goes to 3-2. Wally's hitting .379 against the Pirates this year with 11 base hits. So Backman, the first base runner. That'll bring up Dave Magadan. Magadan hitting .285, 1 home run, 26 runs batted in, and 1 home run against the Pirates. But he has been in a big hitting slump. He's had just 7 hits in his last 44 at bats, hitting .159. Tim pointed out, Keith Hernandez not playing tonight because of a little tender feel of the hamstring, and they're not taking any chances with him. He had a great night last night. He opened up with a double and then had a 2-run home run to win the ball game.
It was the second game when Hernandez came back on the list the 22nd of June. He played that game without a problem. Then he came back on the 23rd, and in his first at bat, he popped that hamstring but good, and that's why Davey, possibly expecting a reoccurrence of that, is sitting him out tonight. What a performance last night. First time up, he doubled. He had a part in all 3 runs, and then the 3-0 pitch that he got from Dave Rucker, a home run in the 7th inning, a 2-run shot.
And ball 1, now ball 2 as Lavalier goes out to talk to his pitcher. The Mets are 3rd in the National League in hitting at .255. They lead in home runs with 97. And they're 3rd in runs scored, having scored 459. Pirates batting average dropping very steadily. They're now 8th in hitting in the National League at .249. They're 3rd in home runs with 83, and they have scored 452 runs, and that is 5th in the National League. 2-0. And a strike call by John McSherry. Drabek has been tough on base stealers. He has picked 3 of them off at first base, and only 9 have stolen second with him pitching out of 17 attempts. Good hit and run count. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the ball sliced off the left field. Here comes Bonds, and Barry makes the catch. So Backman back to first, 2 men out, and the batter will be Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry 1 for 3 last night, hitting .288 on the year, leads the National League in home runs with 29, has 74 runs batted in. Darryl 3rd in the National League in RBIs. He leads the National League in slugging percentage at .596. pitch, a breaking ball for strike one. Strawberry also leads the Mets in runs scored with 76.
Number 18. Now look at the top 10. Yeah, actually the top 4 in 7 different offensive categories. A lot to digest.
And Drabek tries a fastball and misses.
Slugging percentage, runs, third in RBIs, on base percentage. Look at his walks, 63 walks. As a matter of fact, the story offensively of these two clubs are numbers 18 for the Mets and 18 for the Pirates. Andy Van Slyke.
And another strike call. That's 1 and 2.
You've heard of 20/20 vision. We'll give you 18/18 vision tonight with Strawberry and Van Slyke. Here's Andy, who'll probably win the Gold Glove as a center fielder and is just having a marvelous year offensively.
1 and 2. And Darrell, did he swing? The appeal to Fred Brocklander, the third base umpire. He said he did not swing, and that puts the count at 2 and 2.
Yeah, I think Darrell held up. Of course, on replays, it looks like everybody goes around. He held up.
Got the bat back. So it's 2 and 2. And a throw to first. Sellout crowd here tonight, the third in this season for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They had a sellout opening day and had a sellout a previous time against the Mets. And it goes to 3 and 2. Drabek missing with the fastball. That'll move Bream off at first base. He'll look for some defensive room. Backman will be running with the pitch.
If I were Bream, I'd move all the way back into position. Backman's not going to get that much more of a jump, and Bream will be in a better position to play defense. There he goes.
And a breaking ball hit on the ground to Jose Lean, and Lean throws out Strawberry, and the Mets are out here in the top of the first. A walk and 1 left to score at the end of 1/2 inning. The Mets nothing, the Pirates coming up. Now here's a word from Southwest Bell. Dwight Gooden on the mound for the Mets with a record of 13 and 6. He has an earned run average of 2.98. He has had 8 complete games, the tie for the league lead in that department, working 172, and that's all innings, 164 hits. He has walked 40 and struck out 117. Lifetime against the Pirates, 8 and 3.
For Pittsburgh, Barry Bonds leads it off. Jose Lean, the second baseman, batting second, and Andy Van Slyke hitting third. Bobby Bonilla off to a torrid start, has slacked of late. He's batting fourth. Sid Bream hitting fifth. R.J. Reynolds with a home run in last night's game, as did Bream. Reynolds batting sixth. LaValliere hitting seventh. Belliard batting eighth, and Drabek ninth.
And the first pitch, a called strike to Barry Bonds. Bonds batting as leadoff batter for the defense. Magadan, Backman, Elster, and Johnson in the infield. McReynolds, Dykstra, and Strawberry in right. The catcher's Carter. And that pitch a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bonds hitting .294. 18 home runs, 38 runs batted in. And a hard line drive base hit.
That was a straight change that Gooden threw. Barry Bonds with 10 doubles, a triple, and 5 home runs and 4 walks, leading off a game. The knock here. Batting .345 now as a leadoff hitter, leading off the first inning. Boy, he is a great leadoff hitter.
So a runner on, and the batter will be Jose Lean.
How about Ricky Henderson, Ralph? On base in the first inning, 15 games in a row.
That was finally stopped last night.
Stopped last night.
Amazing. He and Bobby Bonds hold the record for the most leadoff home runs, 35. Bobby Bonds, of course, the father of Barry Bonds, and Barry following in his footsteps with a total of 5 home runs this year as a leadoff batter. And in his major league career, he has 13. Jose Lean takes the pitch for ball 1. Lean 0 for 4 last night against Doc Gooden. He has had 3 hits and 12 at-bats with that .245 batting average. Pirates have not been running. They have only 67 stolen bases. They've been successful 62% of the time. And Bonds, who has 13 stolen bases, is playing with a bad knee.
If they run, they'll probably hit and run. Lean will be swinging to protect Bonds.
There he goes. A pitch out. Carter's throw is perfect, and Bonds is out.
That is one way to prevent that stolen base. Lean had no chance to swing at the pitch. It looked like he wanted to offer at it, maybe even bunt at it. But they pitched out, and a strike by Carter. I'll tell you, you give those early pitch outs to team, and that'll thwart that stolen base. You catch a couple of runners early, and they'll be reluctant to run later on.
And a bouncing ball to third, picked up by Howard Johnson, and 2 men away.
I'll tell you, Ralph, even if a team doesn't steal a base, they'll be reluctant to run, because if you pitch out and they're not running, they still think you're going to be pitching out when they are running.
So 2 men away. And the batter will be Andy Van Slyke. Andy hitting .292 for the year with 19 home runs, 73 runs batted in. And he has hit in 6 straight ball games, hitting .435 over the 6 games.
On the downside, if Bonds wasn't running then, it's 2-0 to Lean, so you're behind the batter. But you got to take a chance. It's that simple. Columbus and his 4 ships did.
That's right. Even though they didn't want to go.
A lot of people say, well, there were only 3 ships, but the other one sailed off the edge. That's the joke.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you pointed that out. 2 balls, no strikes.
I noticed your mirth.
I was trying to figure it out.
Well, there's Van Slyke. We mentioned the 18-18 vision. And there are Andy's numbers. And they're worth another look, too. Look how many, 7 offensive categories, just like Strawberry. So Andy right up there with Darrell. Leads the majors in triples. Second in total bases. Having a fine, fine year.
The all-time triple leader came from the Pittsburgh Pirates, a fellow named Wilson, who had 36 triples in 1 season.
No Pirate since 1945 or 44 has had more than 14. Johnny Barrett had 19 triples back for the 44 Pirates.
Played with Johnny. Good left-hand batter. So Van Slyke picks up a walk, and he is a threat to steal. As Gooden walks his first batter. With 2 men out, the next batter will be Sid Breen. Pardon me, make it Bobby Bonilla. Bonilla, a switch hitter, hitting .289. 18 home runs, 66 runs batted in. Bonilla got 7 of his 18 home runs in the month of April when he hit .341.
Be interesting if Van Slyke runs and Carter throws him out. I can't think of an inning this year where the Mets have nailed 2 runners in the same inning.
They've only caught 20% of the base runners this year. And the first pitch, ball 1. Bonilla against Gooden, 6 for 15.
Gooden got him out with breaking balls at Shea Stadium.
There's a fastball hit on the ground to Elster, and he goes to Backman, and that will do it. 1 hit, 1 left on the walk, and the score at the end of 1. The Mets nothing and the Pirates nothing. Now here's a word from the good olds guys. Well, we're going to the top of the 2nd from Three Rivers Stadium here in Pittsburgh. A drawing of the confluence of the Allegheny River and the Monongahela River meeting to form the Ohio.
Looks like an original map, possibly used by William Penn.
Certainly was penned. As you look at Kevin McReynolds, he takes the curveball for ball one.
That's where Fort Pitt was, wasn't it, at the point down there?
That is true.
What an ideal place for a fort. Now a fountain is there.
And also a regatta going on down there, and a lot of people gathered. High pop-up on the second base side. McReynolds hitting .287 before the out with 16 home runs, 63 RBIs. And one away. That'll bring up Harry Carter.
Today in Detroit, the Tigers beating the Red Sox for the third time in about 18 hours. That doubleheader last night ending at 2:33 in the morning. 2 rain delays. Both games won by the Tigers. And now what? The Red Sox have scored 5 runs in those 3 games. 19-4 now under Joe Morgan.
And the Tigers 4 games up over the Boston Red Sox. Coming back is LaValliere to look, and that's all he can do. 1 strike to count to Carter. Carter 1 for 4 last night. Still trying to pick up home run number 300. He has gone 81 days without a home run. The longest to go without a home run trying to get 300 in the history of Major League Baseball, Chuck Klein, who went 128 days. Rogers Hornsby went 75 days before he got his 300th home run, and a good curveball there. 1 and 2. The interesting thing about that, Tim, is the fact that Klein never hit another one. Ended up with 300, and Hornsby hit only 1 more.
I think at one time Gary possibly was thinking about it a little bit too much. I don't think he's thinking about it that much anymore. I mean, it's a lot of home runs, but it's only 1 more than 299. Big deal. 300. I mean, you know, it's a lot of home runs, but 299. I mean, Pete Rose told me Tony Perez hit his 300th, and the reporters had to tell him about it in the clubhouse after the game. He didn't even know it.
I didn't know that I hit my 300. Ground ball down to third. A wide throw, but Sid Green, who leads all first basemen in fielding, manages to stay on the bag and pick up the out.
Well, a quick throw by Bonilla, and that allows Green to come off the bag and then get back on it. Watch. He's off. Now he comes back to get it. Just getting the corner of the bag.
So Bream saves Bonilla in there, and the Mets now with 2 men out. And Howard Johnson, the batter. Howard hitting .226 with 18 home runs, 49 RBIs, and he has been in a deep, deep slump. And the curveball for ball 1. In his last 18 games, Howard has had 6 hits, hitting .115, and he's driven in only 2 runs. Again, the breaking ball.
Tonight in Houston, it's Tim Belcher against Nolan Ryan. The Astros only 2.5 behind the Dodgers. Tightening up like Hernandez's hamstring.
Everything is tight. 2-1 the count. Johnson has hit 3 home runs against the Pirates this year. There's Keith, a spectator once again, but not out of the lineup. He could play, and he also is expected to play tomorrow. There's a drive and taken out of the air on a fine play by Lean, who makes an avocation out of jumping over people, and there's a good reason why. That ends the inning. The score at the end of 1.5 innings. The Mets nothing, the Pirates nothing. Now here's a word from the New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages. Well, Howard Johnson leaned into the last pitch to no avail, as Jose Lean jumps high in the air to pick it out of the air. Look at that jump. And here's a man who could jump just as high, Tim McCarver.
No, wait, if I jumped about 3 times, I could get that high.
No, I mean coming down.
Sid Bream leads it off here in the bottom of the second. Sid with a home run in last night's game takes strike 1. Bream batting .281, and in my opinion, a very much underrated ball player coming to the Pirates from the Brooklyn Dodgers. Ball 1-1-1. I've got the Brooklyn Dodgers on my mind. Los Angeles Dodgers, of course. Sid not old enough. He wasn't even born when the Brooklyn Dodgers won their World Series championship back in 1955, the only one.
In Brooklyn.
They won it in Brooklyn, yeah. Popped up, shallow left field. McReynolds in, waving off Dykstra, and he makes the play, 1 away. Must have been frustrating times back in the late 40s, early 50s.
They had some great clubs, Tim, and of course they met the Yankees so many times. The Yankees with great clubs, and it was a matter of a flip of a coin who would pull it off, and the Yankees seemed to always come up with heads all the time when they called it. With 55, Johnny Padres pitched that 2-0 victory in the 7th game, and the Brooklyn Dodgers had their first World Series championship.
R.J. Reynolds fouls it back. R.J. also a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He came over with Bream in a trade that sent Bill Madlock to the Dodgers. Fouled away. Also Cecil Espy coming in that trade. Cecil Espy has resurfaced with the Texas Rangers. There's Sid Bream. Matter of fact, Sid born after the Dodgers moved to Los Angeles.
First season out in L.A., 1958.
Played at the Coliseum. All those Moon shots hit the left field. Wally Moon hit 11 home runs to left field in 1959. A year in which the Dodgers played the Milwaukee Braves. After the season was over, they had to play 2 out of 3. And the Braves played 2 out of 3 in 1956 against the Dodgers. And then they won it in 57 and 8. The Braves could have won 4 straight pennants easily.
Well, they had some great teams there. Warren Spahn,
Lou Burdett, Bob Buell, Bill Bruton,
Eddie Matthews, Joe Adcock, Johnny Logan. Got to throw Johnny in there just for the fights. Well, R.J. Reynolds has homered off a good one in his career. In fact, it was on opening day 1986, and he's hit Reynolds well.
Curveball high, 2-2.
9 hits and 28 at-bats. But he has struck out 10 times against Gooden.
1 out, no score. Bottom of the 2nd inning. Just underway. Happy you've joined us tonight. Got him on the curveball. That was a harder curve than he had thrown on the 1-2 pitch. That's strikeout number 1 for Gooden. 2 outs.
Well, Gooden with 1,010 strikeouts in his major league career. And he gives him a good curveball.
Mike LaValliere now is 3 for 30 against the Mets this year, but won a 2-run homer last Monday night against Dwight Gooden on a curveball. Pirates won that game 7-2 as Dre Beck bested the Doctor. 1-1 to LaValliere. Jammed, grounded back to Gooden, and a quick inning for the Pirates as they go in order. No score after 2. We're back after this from Nissan. Kevin Elster leads it off, top of the 3rd inning. Kevin batting .217. But he does have 3 home runs against the Pirates. As a matter of fact, his last 3 homers have been against Pittsburgh. Strike one. No score, top of the third.
John Smiley was a big one. Mets winning 1-0 coming in the bottom of the 8th inning of the first game of the series in Shea.
Ball and 2 strikes to Elster.
Mets have won 10 of the 13 games played between these two clubs this year.
Grounded sharply but foul. Still 2-2 to Kevin Elster.
Just checking on that, they have won 8 of the 11 games played against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Outfield playing Elster shallow. Van Slyke, who plays a shallow center field. Reynolds in right, also shallow. Swing and a miss. Got him. First strikeout for Drabek.
Well, we got a chance. We'd like to say hello to our friends at Elmendorf Air Force Base in Alaska, and particularly would like to wish a happy 47th birthday to Sergeant Andy Mooney of the 616th Aerial Port. Andy, a great Mets fan.
All right. All the troops guarding our frontiers. Dwight Gooden, the batter. 6 in a row now, retired by Doug Drabek. And Dwight takes a strike. Gooden with 9 RBIs. That leads National League pitchers in runs driven in. He does have a home run. Also, to his credit, ball on a strike to Gooden. Doug Drabek from Victoria, Texas. Slider is outside. Several other major leaguers from Victoria. Ron Gant, the second baseman for the Atlanta Braves. Also from Victoria. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Tip held on to by Mike LaValliere. Second strikeout for Drabek, and 7 in a row now retired by Doug. And that'll bring up Len Dykstra.
And both of the strikeouts down around the knees. Low fastballs and good right over the top.
Catchers don't seem to hold on to those balls that are down nearly as much as the balls up. When you have that glove turned the other way, as you could see LaValliere turning that glove over and turning the hand on which the mitt is to his left to turn it over. You don't have a tendency that hardens the hand, I think, and it makes it more difficult to keep that foul tip. But if he holds that glove with his hand upright and catches a foul tip there, the chances are it'll go in the webbing more frequently. Off the foot of Dykstra, he's down. Appears to be all right. It's 1-1 to Lennon.
This is a case of Nails nailing himself. Right off that front foot.
Draybeck makes the play, and in my opinion, that's a bad play. 2 out, nobody on. You're bunting to get on first base. Bad play by Dykstra. 8 in a row retired by Draybeck. No score after 2.5. And we'll be back after this from your Lincoln Mercury dealers.
Well, fans, Emerson Banner Day contest on Sunday, August 14th at Shea is sold out. But those of you who will be attending, please remember that only those banners carried by 1 or 2 persons will be permitted on the field. The parade will run between games of the Mets Expos doubleheader. And please note that the first game begins at 12:05 p.m. There will be thousands of dollars worth of prizes given away: a 27-inch Emerson Color TV, an Emerson VHS camcorder, an Emerson VCR, and microwave oven. Mets tickets are still available for the Expos games on Friday, August 12th at 7:35 p.m. and Saturday, August 13th at 1:35 p.m. Call 718-507-TIXX during business hours.
Also, folks, something extra special is ahead. It's a 10-day Caribbean cruise featuring Mets players on the world's top ship, the QE2. And it's during prime vacation time from January 3rd to January 13th, 1989. Many Mets players, coaches, and broadcasters will be on board. Best of all, it's the QE2, which is first class. It's a relaxing vacation. There's no extra charge over the regular list price, and it's the perfect time of year. Well, that's debatable whether it's the perfect time of year, but it's the perfect time of year for a cruise. 800-732-7000. You can call for more information. Here's Rafael Belliard. And he takes ball 1.
The size of that QE2, it could be in 2 different seasons.
Summer and fall.
Yeah. Been on that ship. It's a beauty.
You would equate that ship with a large ship, I suppose. Equator running right down the middle.
That's right.
2 balls and a strike to Belliard. No score, bottom of the 3rd. Second of 2. Second of 4 between these 2 teams.
An equinox on both sides.
2-2 to Belliard. We said in the pregame show, I think it's worth repeating, that Gooden, in his first 10 starts, was 8-0. He's 13-6 now. And the curveball gets Belliard. 5 in a row retired by Doc. 1 out.
Well, Belliard really having his problems. He's now 4 for 50.
Same as Howard Johnson. Even though he's batting 179, he has 2 doubles and 2 triples. Got that, 2 triples for a pitcher. He pops this one up. Gooden looking at Magadan. And it's Magadan who makes the catch. 6 in a row, retired by Dwight. As expected, a pitcher's duel here at Three Rivers. Neither side really wearing the ball out. Hot and muggy. And it's supposed to be at this time of year, right?
Absolutely, just as we love it.
Yeah. Just the way we like it. Took the words right out of my mouth. Barry Bonds singled to right field. The only hit off Gooden. Matter of fact, the only hit in the game. 0-1 to Barry. With Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla, Rafael Belliard, and Sid Bream, I guess this is Pittsburgh's rendition of the Killer Bees. Ground ball towards second. And an easy inning for Gooden. He's retired 7 in a row. No score after 3. Steve Zabrisky's in here after this, after Manufacturers Hanover. I never break a promise. Here's Steve. Man.
Thanks, Timmy. Good evening, everybody. No score as we go to the top of the 4th inning. And only 1 hit in the ball game. And the Pirates have it. Backman walked his first time up. And he has been the only New York base runner against Doug Drabek. Down low, ball 1.
You know, it's along the lines of have a nice day. Do me a favor. A lot of perfect strangers come up to you and say, do me a favor.
And they usually put it in that way rather than asking if you will.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor.
Not, would you please
No.
do me a favor.
No.
Just do me a favor.
Do me a favor. And then they go ahead and ask you the favor without even allowing it to sink in.
Or waiting for you to say you will or you won't.
Yeah. Yeah, do me a favor. Would you do me a favor, by the way? Would
Of
you
course,
tell,
Timmy.
Would you tell the story about Jay Horwitz today? Now that's really the highlight of the day.
It
right?
is. This is in spite of the fact that this is a tight series. It's a pennant race. It's an important 4 games. The story around PR director Jay Horwitz supersedes it all. Routine play for Lind at second, and Backman is out one away here in the 4th. All right, I'll tell you as Dave Magadan comes to the plate. Jay Horwitz usually goes out jogging during the day when there's a night game, just as Timmy and I go out and power walk. We're too old to jog anymore. Jay was out today going over one of the bridges here in Pittsburgh with the speedboats and the regatta going underneath, and there must have been 100 people go past there. Jay, of course, is not in press row, and he can't sit down. That's the reason. I'll tell you why. Magadan, the batter. Jay's disappeared. Magadan flied to left his first time up, and he takes a strike. Jay is jogging along. Probably 100 or so people have passed this location in the hour that preceded Jay coming there. But when Jay goes by, 1-1. A rather large German Shepherd dog in excess of 100 pounds attacks his upper right leg. Jay turns. The dog moves behind him and bites him right in the derriere. 2-1. Tearing his jogging shorts, ripping his shirt, his warm-up shirt. His clothes were in shreds. Fortunately, the dog's teeth didn't break the skin. But Jay was, shall we say, a little the worse for wear. There he is. Sharply hit the first off the glove of Sid Bream. But no! Drabek's off the bag, says first base umpire Ed Montague, and Jim Leyland's going to come out and argue.
I think what Leyland is going to argue about is that you have first basemen that cheat. Isn't it the same thing when a pitcher cheats? I think Montague made the right call, but it looked like, or because it looked like, Drabek was off the bag. It's a lot tougher for a pitcher to time cheating. Drabek didn't think he had enough time. Had he stayed on the bag, he gets Magadan, but let's see if he came off too quickly. No, he stayed on it.
He's right on the bag.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Doug had a good gripe there, just like Jay did today. Matter of fact, that picture about where Jay got bit.
And that's not the end of the story, though.
No.
Here's Strawberry with Magadan on and 1 out. Ball 1. An error charge to Bream. Jay is all right, except he does have a lot of redness, shall we say, in the area. The problem now is that the dog is in the hospital. They had to give the dog shots. And you should hear some of the one-liners that have exited the clubhouse after this.
Are they surfacing?
Fouled off. They've got a piece of Mike LaValliere, and he is in pain. Kent Biggerstaff, the Pirates trainer, out quickly to see if Spanky's all right.
Catchers wear that protective cup. And usually when you get it, you get hit between the legs. It's when the ball comes up, and that's what happened. It hit the ground and came up, and it comes up, and there's no protection there. And as you might imagine, that can take your breath away. The
thing that's sort of funny about it is the trainer comes out, there's absolutely nothing he can do for him.
No.
Nothing at all.
No, that's one thing you can't spray with ethyl chloride. Thank goodness.
Just all you can do is come out and express some concern. That's it.
I'll tell you what happened to me. One of the most frightening foul tips that I ever took, Steve, was when I got one, a direct hit, and that's rare. And most of the time, when you get a direct hit, you'll get a bruise in the groin area, but it's not nearly as painful as a ball that comes up in that groin area. But one time I got a direct hit, and I could tell immediately that it had severed my cup. And if you don't think that's not a frightening feeling, I walked off and I picked 2 pieces of that aluminum cup out of my jock. And I'll tell you, it was not only bruised, it was the most frightening thing that ever happened to me, outside of being hit in the throat with a foul tip.
Well, LaValliere bouncing around there, even after taking that shot on a good play. 2 balls, 1 strike to Strawberry.
In a jock strap, there is a little pocket for the cup.
Pouch, if you will.
Yeah, a little pouch. And when I unbuttoned it, I picked out 2 pieces of that metal cup. It's actually a hard plastic. It's made in hard plastic and aluminum, light aluminum. But believe me, boy, I'll tell you, you could tell by, the feeling down there that it had severed. Frightening.
Strawberry misses the breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, if there's ever any doubt in your mind as to why you wear one,
oh boy,
that would certainly erase all of that.
Mike appears to be all right. It's nice to see. Well, we have a visit by Jay Horowitz in our booth. You're all right, Jay? A little tenderness?
Jay's standing a lot tonight. 2-2 to Strawberry. Inside and a full count. So 3-2 with 1 out, and Dave Magadan at first. No score, top of the 4th inning.
Expect to see you in the whirlpool tomorrow, possibly?
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Popped up, drifting foul out of play down the left field side. So still 3-2. Now here's JJ in our booth.
It was a frightening experience up there. He was scared, he said.
And here's a man who has all kinds of pets, right, Jay? You cats and victim of ferocious dog attack. They got your name up here, Jay. I mean, Jay's an animal lover. Why in the world would they attack him? Must have been maybe the dog smelled those cats on you, Jay. I don't understand why 100 people would go by and all of a sudden the dog would attack Jay. Fortunately, he's all right. We'll keep you updated on the condition of the dog. Driven to left field. Bonds has room, however. One hands it, and Magadan, who is at second, goes back to first now with 2 away.
Well, let's take a look at the Nissan National League scoreboard. Montreal, the rampaging Expos, have won 11 of 13 in their 6 games behind New York. Chicago beating Philadelphia 7-4. 1-0 San Diego over Cincinnati, that game of the 4th. No score, San Francisco at Atlanta. And once that Los Angeles-Houston game starts, we'll keep you up to date with that. It should begin in about 35 minutes.
So at this moment, Montreal is only 1 game in back of second-place Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pending the outcome of this game. McReynolds popped out for the second baseman, Jose Lean, his first time up. Then he fouls off a breaking ball down the right field line for strike 1. You're watching Mets Baseball 88 on WWOR-TV, Secaucus, New Jersey. Doug Drabek has only allowed 2 base runners, a walk to Backman in the 1st and an error on Sid Bream here in the 4th that put Magadan aboard. Blown away. Drabek almost slipped.
You know, Steve, you almost never see Doug hanging a breaking ball. If he makes a mistake with the breaking ball, his follow-through is so good that it's usually low and away to a right-hander. He rarely throws that ball above the knees. Yeah, that's one of those backup sliders. That's not his curveball. I think generally speaking, when you have a curveball like Drabek throws and a slider like Drabek throws, the easier pitch with which to make a mistake is the slider, because the curveball's always going down.
Doug says he actually has 2 sliders. He calls one of them his true slider. And I'm not exactly sure what the difference is in the manner in which he throws the pitch. But he uses his slider very effectively, both of them, really. 1-2. Fouled off. And again, it looked like LaValliere caught that ball on the part of the leg.
Comes in bunches back there, and Mike, his second foul tip. And boy, that almost hit him in the same spot, and that's something you really don't want to happen. I've already given.
And aren't you glad?
Yes.
Another 1-2 pitch. Got him. Third strikeout for Drabek. 1 error, 1 left in the 4th for New York. We're still scoreless after 3.5, and we're back after this for the good old Skies. Bottom of the 4th inning here at Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. A sellout, in spite of the fact that not everybody who bought a ticket came to the ballpark. And there's a shot from the Metropolitan Life blimp, piloted by Mike Fitzpatrick. The cameraman is Bob Michelson. As you look at the twilight on an overcast evening in Pittsburgh at Three Rivers Stadium. Jose Lean to lead it off for the Pirates. No score here in the bottom of the 4th, and Dwight Gooden's fastball is high. Ball 1. Lean grounded to third his first time up. That one's right in there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
What a curveball that was.
You saw Lean get locked.
You saw Lean to leaning.
Wow. He is a leaping leaner. 1-2. Outside 2-2. And he's already shown us his leaping ability in this ball game. A little bit high and away, and the appeal to Ed Montague at first base. And Eddie says no. So it's 3-2 to Jose Lean. Andy Van Slyke and Bobby Bonilla to follow against the Doctor here in the 4th inning. Grounded foul outside third. Still 3-2. Ball grounded to Johnson. Good backhand play, and he gets it.
Oh, what a play. Now, the difference between a short hop and an in-between hop, a short hop is where the glove is. An in-between hop is where the glove has to be. And that's why it was a good play. You saw how Johnson started low and then came up on that ball. Whenever you see that hop where the infielder catches it, he looks uncomfortable and catches it around his chest. That's the in-between hop.
When you add the backhand to that,
oh, boy.
That's a heck of a play.
Great play by Johnson.
Here's Andy Van Slyke, who walked in the 1st inning. The fastball is high, ball 1. Andy working on a 6-game hitting streak, over which he's had 10 hits and hit .435, including 3 home runs. Breaking ball is high. 2-0.
To make it even more difficult, a short hop usually lands in the glove softly. There's give to it, but there's a lot of overspin to the in-between hop, and that makes it that much more difficult to cradle. Really a fine play by Johnson.
And there's even more overspin on artificial surface because of the way the ball grabs on the turf.
Traction.
Yep. Hojo with the good play. Or it might have been extra bases for Jose Lean. We're scoreless in the bottom of the fourth. The count now 2 balls, 1 strike to Van Slyke. Curveball a little high. 3-1.
Danger down pitch right now. If you're Van Slyke, you're looking in a little area that's about down and in. And he is a good low ball hitter.
And he gets at that pitch that's kind of down, but he grounds it to Backman, and there are 2 away.
It was down indeed, but the ball was away, and Van Slyke tried to pull it. Well, let's take a look at the Nissan American League scoreboard. Kansas City over Toronto 11-1. Detroit over the Boston Red Sox. Detroit leading in the American League East by 4 games, 4.5 over the Yankees. No score, Minnesota at New York, and Oakland over the Seattle Mariners. Let's not forget them. Milwaukee at Baltimore, rain delay, and the other 2 games at night.
Detroit really taking charge, at least temporarily, in the American League East. Bobby Bonilla takes low ball 1. Bonilla grounded into an inning-ending force play in the first inning. Bobby's really been struggling. Low again. 2-0. He is one of only 3 National Leaguers to play every game. Will Clark and Steve Sachs the others. Maybe he needs a day off. He has been struggling lately. High and away, ball 3.
As an example, he had 340 for the months of April and May, 261 in June, 231 in July, to reinforce your point.
Got to rest him now because you're going to need him in September. Sky to center. Dykstra over toward left field as the ball slices on him. He stays with it, and the inning is over. Goodman has retired the last 10 in a row. And after 4, it's no score here in Pittsburgh. Now here's a word from Budweiser. Another shot from the Metropolitan Life blimp overhead as we go to the 5th inning. No score here at Three Rivers.
That's pretty.
Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
Just enough twilight left. Here's Gary Carter. And he hits one on the ground sharply to Bonilla at 3rd, and on 1 pitch, 1 out in the 5th.
Now, see, that was a low in-between hop. Not to beat it into the ground, no pun intended, but you could see how when Bonilla fielded that ball, there was a little shiver in his hands right after he caught it. Let's see if we can pick it up. See, it's a little unsure. See that little double clutch coming up? And that's that in-between hop, even though that was a much easier hop than the one Johnson had to handle. But that's an idea of what infielders have to cope with on this artificial surface.
So Hojo the batter, and he takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Johnson lined hard to Jose Lean to end the 2nd inning as Lean went high to take away a base hit.
Joe has been the strangest hitter I think I've ever seen over the last 3 weeks. Home runs for Johnson, and this ball is hit like a rocket. No mortar here. That ball got out in a hurry.
Kevin Elster with a base hit into left center field. Van Slyke over quickly and up with the ball to hold Elster to a single. So after the Mets were held hitless for 4 1/3, a home run by Johnson, followed by a base hit by Elster.
I'll tell you, the Mets can just strike with those solo home runs. But that one high enough, it wasn't so low not to get out of here. But, you know, consider this. The Mets have beaten the Pirates 4 out of the last 5 games, and they've scored 11 runs. 11.
And with the exception of last Monday night's game, every game has been tight.
1-0, 3-0, 2-1, 3-2 last night, and it's 1-0 here tonight.
Jim Leyland talking, I'm sorry, Timmy, about how his club is just almost there, and the scores indicate that they're just almost there. Unfortunately, they find themselves 3 games farther back in the standings than when the series in New York began. Here's Gooden to bunt, and he gets it down. It's a pretty good one. Bream will have to go to first to lean covering, and the sacrifice moves Elster over to second now with 2 away.
One of the unfortunate things in getting to the point where you're good, you have to suffer through the part of losing and knowing how to lose. That's one of the ingredients in being great, both as a team and as an individual. And I think the Pirates are suffering through that period right now. Big start. Now they're learning how to lose. It's unfortunate that it has to happen that way, but I think there's a good teacher. All of his comments are upbeat. There's no, head between the legs or anything like that. I think Jim Leyland, his comments and his actions have been very, very upbeat and positive, certainly as much as they could have been. Pirates have lost 10 out of their last 14 ball games coming into tonight's game.
It's funny because last year, one of the things that Jim said was that this ball club has to learn how to win. Now, they have to learn how to lose as well in the proper fashion, in the proper frame of mind.
Yeah, once you're good enough to win, then you have to be humbled into knowing how to lose and then winning again. Then you got the right ingredient, then you can go ahead and win.
All the time. Van Slyke hardly has to move in center field, and the inning is over. A run, 2 hits. Howard Johnson's 19th dinger of the year gives the Mets a 1-0 lead in the middle of the 5th inning. Now here's a word from McDonald's. The curtain is going up on the pennant race. But actually what it is, the curtain has come down for a laser light show after the game. They blocked out 3,000 seats on a night when they could have sold them. But that's the way it goes. And for the rest of the way it goes the next inning and a half, Tim will tell you about it.
All right, Steve, Sid Bream now the batter. He's 0 for 1. Gooden has retired 10 in a row, and the Mets lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. High, ball 1. Say it's a perfect night for laser night because Johnson started things a little early with that laser beam he hit out at the top of the 5th. Woo. Ground ball to short. Elster, easy play. 1 out. 11 in a row retired by Gooden. The only base hit, a leadoff single by Barry Bonds, and the only other base runner after Bonds was caught stealing. Whoa! That's a little too close to the shore, isn't it, Stevie?
I'll tell you what, that brings back some memories of when I crashed into a shore of shale rocks on water skis. Just by coming too close.
I would imagine that happened this afternoon.
Yes.
No, not you crashing. No, I mean that shot that we just took.
No, that was live.
Oh, that's right now, huh? So the regatta's still in full swing. 1-1 to R.J. Reynolds. There it is.
Triple water skiing.
Oh, that's pretty.
Right off the point.
Big laser beam show tonight as the curveball drops in there to Reynolds. A ball and 2 strikes to R.J. Robert James Reynolds. Nickname is Shoes. It back.
He's got a lot of them.
I understand 200 pairs.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You could almost wear a different pair every day for most of the year without wearing the same ones twice.
High to Shoes. 2-2 to Reynolds. delightful guy. He and his wife Yolanda, parents of twins born about 3 weeks ago. Hughes laces one to Backman, and Wally throws him out.
No loafers on that play either. Of course, if you have laces, you don't have loafers.
11 in a row retired by Gooden. And here's LaValliere. I like shoes.
Yeah. I know you do. You have nice shoes.
Well, I mean, I didn't. No, I didn't that, but I like shoes.
I can
not
tell
Not necessarily stylish, but I think shoes they're nice.
But you're into clothing in general, though. I mean, you're the GQ kind of guy.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. I'm into comfort when I dress. I like to dress comfortably. 2-0 to LaValliere. Ground balls snagged by Gooden. So that's what, 13 in a row retired by the doctor. He has a 1-0 lead after 5, and we will stylishly go to the 6th after this from Mitsubishi. Lovely, lovely shot of the refurbished downtown area. Urban renewal going on, I guess, for the last 25 years here in Pittsburgh. They've done a very, very nice job. Part of that renewal, Three River Stadium, came into existence back in 1970. And on that bridge this afternoon, Jay Horowitz was bitten by a German Shepherd.
Fortunately, in a fleshy area, shall we say.
Upper thigh.
Way upper.
Rear upper thigh. Here's Wally Backman, who is 0 for 1. Jay is doing fine, and as Steve says, so is the dog.
They rushed the dog for treatment.
I mean, how can all of those people be streaming by and Jay be the only one being bitten? I mean, just his luck, huh? Line to left, base hit for Wally Backman, who has really been stinging the ball lately. So Backman, the leadoff base runner here in the 6th inning, the first time in this game that the Mets have had their leadoff runner on, and that'll bring up Dave Magadan.
Over the last 4 games, Wally's hit .471, getting a chance to play regularly. His average now right at .300. And a typical Backman swing as he drags that bat head through and slaps it the other way with authority.
Dave Magadan, the batter. He's playing first tonight. If you joined us late, you may have missed our comments about Keith Hernandez. He is not starting because of tightness in that hamstring. He's all right, but he's being kept out for precautionary reasons.
And the feeling is that Keith will be in the lineup tomorrow. Magadan hitting. Dave 0 for 2. He was on base on an error in the 4th inning. 1-0 New York. Strike one. The Mets with 3 hits, Pittsburgh with 1. 1-0 New York. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Magadan. Certainly a hit-and-run situation. Sam Perlazzo, the third base coach, going over the signs. Belliard and Leaned cheating towards second for the double play. Whoops, Backman was running and they got him. If that was a hit-and-run, that's a poor play by Backman. However, if he was going to steal the base and you don't know, then it's not a bad play because you got to get a good jump. If you're going for the hit and run, you don't need to worry as much about getting a good jump, and you just can't let yourself be picked off. You see Wally leaning. Once you pick up that foot that is closest to the bag, you have a hard time getting back. And that's what happened to Wally.
Now, the Mets have not been hitting the ball well enough to make that type of mistake. And as we said, if it was a mistake indeed, we don't know. We assume the hit and run was on, and you have to assume that. With Magadan the hitter, 1-1 the count, Backman at first base, and Drabek and LaValliere, a good combination to hold down the stolen base. Line drive, right field, base hit. So Magadan at first. 2 straight hits, but only 1 on with 1 out. After Backman was picked off, and here's Darryl Strawberry. That hit and run play is exactly like the 3-2 count with less than 2 outs, or with 2 outs. You just cannot be picked off. It's like the squeeze play. A good jump off a third is not necessary. It's up to the hitter. It's almost a segmented play.
You do your job, then the hitter does his job.
You got it.
And if you don't do your job as a base runner, as in the case of Backman, if that was the hit and run play, then the whole play is negated.
It's really a team play. The manager tries to pick a pitcher that's always around the plate. He tries to pick a hitter that makes contact and is not necessarily a power hitter. He relays it to the third base coach, who eventually will relay it to the first base runner and to the hitter. So that's the network by which the hit and run or the squeeze play is relayed. And then it's up to the base runner to, when he does take off, not to get picked off. And we think Backman got picked off on a hit and run play. So it's 1-1 to Strawberry. Strike 2. Darryl looked like he was looking for the curveball. You can't blame him. He's seen so many of them. 1-2 to Strawberry.
That was a pitch that Darryl could ordinarily hammer, but he was not prepared for it.
Curveball hit deep to left. Bonds back near the track, and he makes the play. That's going to bring up Kevin McReynolds, who is 0 for 2. Still at first. 2 outs now in the 6th inning. 1-0 New York. Howard Johnson's 19th home run on a curveball in the 5th inning. Perlazo not giving a sign. This is a no-sign situation. Magadan has not attempted a stolen base this year. And you don't hit and run with 2 outs.
No, that's why you won't see Kevin McReynolds even look down at Sammy here. But the Mets tried to manufacture something, partially because of how well Drabek has been pitching. In his last 7 starts, he's 5-0 with a 1.40 ERA.
Fly ball to right field. Lazily in is R.J. Reynolds, and he makes the play. No runs on 2 hits and 1 left after 5.5. 1-0 New York, and we're back. Perfect night for it after this word from Budweiser. Perfect. Bottom of the 6th inning, Rafael Belliard will lead it off for the Pirates. And there's Davy Johnson, who's got to be mighty proud of his daughter Andrea. A couple of weeks ago, we reported in Atlanta right after the All-Star game that Andrea Johnson, who is the state surfing champion in the state of Florida, was on her way to Honolulu to Sandy Beach for national competition, and the top 6 finalists of the 50 women competing, 1 from each state, was to be picked for the international team. She finished 7th. She's actually the first alternate, Davey told me. If one of the top 6, she's only 15 years old, And the age bracket is 13 to 18. And I think she's soon to be 16. I believe that's right. So Davy just beaming, his chest out, and with good reason. Andrea Johnson finished 7th in that surfing contest. 50 ladies, one from each state, competing, 350 men. And it's 0-2 to Rafael Belliard. Gee, we parents can be so proud, can we not?
You got that right. Yep. Those kinds of things need to be talked about, too.
You got that right. Another one fouled away. Belliard hanging tough.
A lot of the news about young people is not very positive, and that's the news that usually gets most of the play. When you get some positive news, put it on. Belliard just came about as close to a hit as he's come in about a week. And that line drive.
Tapper toward Johnson, and he guns out Belliard. That's 14 in a row now, retired by Gooden. And Belliard 0 for his last 19.
He's only had 4 hits in his last 51 times up. Then you have to go out and face the doctor.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
David Cohn and Mike Dunn going against each other tomorrow. We're on the air at 1:30 New York time. Then Monday night, Bobby Ojeda against John Smiley. And it's no balls and 1 strike to Doug Drabek.
Fan interference again.
How about that ending a game last night? That's won that game 3-2, and to end it, a pop fly was lifted toward the box seats along the first base side, and John McSherry, the first base umpire, properly called fan interference. As Backman was under it, the fan reached out onto the field. Had Backman, on the other hand, been reaching into the stands and a fan touched it, well, it would not have been fan interference. Drive to right center, and it's going to drop. How about that? Drabek with his 3rd double of the year, and he represents a potential tying run with 1 out.
Gooden had retired 14 in a row. Barry Bonds led off the first inning for the Pirates with a base hit, and this is the 2nd Pirate hit, and it comes here with 1 out in the 6th inning, and it's the pitcher Doug Drabek who does it.
The Mets and the Pirates, almost like a new company opening up and watching their pennies. A small profit margin that both are working with. 1-0 New York as Bonds takes a strike.
One thing you learn quickly in business, the importance of cash flow.
Well, the flow has neither team in the flow offensively the last 3 weeks.
If you haven't got a lot coming in, you better not let much go out.
Right.
And that's exactly the way these games have been. Playing it close to the vest, tight game situations approached that way from really the first inning on in most of these games. Each manager not really anticipating getting much in the way of scoring.
So watch your overhead, and sure enough, the fastball over the head of Barry Bonds. 1-2 to Bonds. I guess his very name alone brings up that type of conversation.
I tell you, put it in the treasury.
On deck batter is Jose Lind.
I guess we'd have to say that Barry is trying to, or Bonds is trying to cash in the run here.
Fouls it back. Still 1-2 to Barry Bonds.
I think we've had more puns tonight than we've had in any single ball game this year.
Puns?
Oh, plays on words.
Could be puns, I guess. I guess both sides are hoping that there will not be an October 19th, 1987. Day the market fell over 500 points last year. Pirates 5 games behind the Mets. They trail in this game 1-0. Doug Drabek representing the potential tying run at second. Only the second hit for the Pirates. The Mets only have 4. 2-2 to Bonds. Choking up about 2 inches on the bat. Fouls it back again.
I'll tell you one thing about October 19th. Each team would like to be playing on October 19th, 1988.
Indeed they would.
That's what it's all about.
Those Montreal Expos winning again today. They beat the Cardinals 5-4. They're only 6 games behind the Mets and a game behind the Pirates in the National League East. Another one fouled away. Still 2-2. Fastball is high. 3-2 to Bonds. He's going to get a curve here. What do you think?
I'd give him a breaking ball.
First base open, even though he would represent the potential go-ahead run. We'll see how Gary and Doc work it. Curveball, foul back. Boy, you hate that as a catcher. You make the pitch, and you got to tip your hat to the hitter.
They tried to get him on the pitch before with a high fastball, and Barry was able, although he just started the bat a little bit, to lay off of it. Having done that, all the more reason to come next with the breaking ball, adding to that first base open in the situation.
Fastball hit deep to right field. Way back is Dykstra, and this ball is out of here. 2-1 Pittsburgh. For Bonds, and did he get all of that one? Brother. Jose Lean takes ball 1. 1-0 to Lean.
Well, there's a world of talent right here. 2 of the best young players around, and the fastball is deposited.
1 hopper to Johnson. He throws out Lean. 2 outs. Lean is grounded out to third all 3 times. And here's Andy Van Slyke.
I guess you could say that Barry's ability to foul off that breaking ball really gave him the shot.
That was a great at-bat by Bonds. Great at-bat. He must have fouled off, what, 7 pitches? Gooden had him 0-2 at one time, and he hit the 3-2 fastball out after fouling off that wicked curve the pitch before. 1-0 to Van Slyke, who's 0 for 1. 2-1 Pittsburgh, bottom of the 6th. Tapper, and Van Slyke appeared to react like the ball hit his foot, but John McSherry didn't see it, and none of the umpires called it. It was, however, a foul ball. 1-1.
not hit his foot, and it really didn't appear to hit his foot. I think Andy's trying to pull an acting routine here because he thought the ball might have stayed fair and he didn't run. But it just kicked foul before it got to the bag. Didn't look like it hit him at all.
No, it didn't. One and one. 2 balls and a strike.
Incidentally, the home run by Bonds that has given the Pirates a lead is only the 7th home run that Dwight Gooden has allowed in almost 180 innings.
Curve ball and a beauty. 2-2 to Van Slyke. Home runs per 9 innings. There's only one pitcher in the National League better. That's Bob Walk of the Pirates. He pitched last night and lost. Curve ball, base hit, right field. So Van Slyke singles to right, and that'll bring up Bobby Bonilla. Looking ahead to the 7th inning, Gooden will be the 4th batter.
Well, you hear the expression right on the pitch. Andy Van Slyke was right on that pitch. Ordinarily, a breaking ball away, if you try to pull it, you're going to hit it on the ground to the second baseman. But Van Slyke, right on the pitch, stayed with it and hit it on a line to right field.
There goes Van Slyke. Fastball is high. The throw is low into center field. A throwing error by Carter and stolen base number 17 for Van Slyke. And he's at third with 2 outs.
Van Slyke wasting no time on the first pitch. He's off and running. He got a great jump. Elster couldn't come up with the ball. As he steps out of the way here, and it goes really right over Van Slyke. Backman couldn't get there in time to keep it from going to center field. Only the 78th error on the Mets. They are the lowest total in the National League.
Curveball hit off the end of the bat, and Bonilla's bat splinters to the point where he's got to get some new lumber. 1-1 to Bonilla.
That bat broke all the way down past the trademark.
That wouldn't happen if the bat wasn't bored out at the end.
This ball catches that recessed cone in the end of the bat right on the ridge and just tears that portion of the bat right off.
Outside, ball 2 to Bonilla, 2-1. Sid Bream on deck. Van Slyke at third with 2 outs, 2-1 Pittsburgh. Fastball is high. 3 balls and a strike. With a fastball there, Bonilla fouls it back. Van Slyke telling Bobby, just cool it, stay relaxed.
Bonilla had a tremendous cut at that pitch. And Slyke trying to tell him, you really don't have to swing that hard.
See if he gets the curveball here. Fastball was high. Well, one would have to think, after Gooden retired Belliard to make it 14 in a row, that the hit by Drabek really certainly led to his undoing. I mean, he's only given up 2 runs so far, but what undoing he's had in this inning. That double by Drabek on the 1-2 pitch. Key hit. Here's Bream. First and third, 2 outs. Curveball fouled away, 0-1.
Yeah, Doc seemed to lose his concentration a little bit. Obviously, when you have the pitcher 1 ball, 2 strikes, and you give up a line drive double in the gap, it can ruin your day. But you've got to just shake it off and come back. And And he has really struggled since the Drabek double.
Line to right field, base hit. Van Slyke scores. Bonilla to third. 3-1 Pittsburgh.
Fastball, Sid Bream all over it. Strawberry with no chance to keep Bonilla from going to third, and Mel Stottlemyre is out to talk to Dwight Gooden. And to give the bullpen some time. Earlier you saw a shot of Bob McClure getting his gear after a phone call from the dugout.
McClure warming up probably for Mike LaValliere should Mike hit in this inning. And when you see Stottlemyre talking to Carter, you must assume that they're also talking about the runner at first base if he breaks for second. What do? Do you throw through or cut it off? I'd throw through and treat it like a straight steal. Bream only has 6 stolen bases. He's been caught 7 times, and Bonilla not a fast runner at third. So the Pirates with 3 runs here in the 6th lead 3-1, and R.J. Reynolds, who is 0 for 2, is the batter. He was right on that pitch. 0-1. Doc's really been staying ahead of the hitters this inning. He was ahead of Barry Bonds, 0-2. He got ahead of Van Slyke, and he got ahead of Bonilla. Sid Bream hit the first pitch for a base hit to right. It's 0-1 to Reynolds. And 2 strikes, so he's ahead of R.J. Reynolds now. 0-2. Fouled away.
Have not been hitting. That's why they've won only 10 or 4 of their last 14. But you wouldn't know it by this inning. They fouled off some good pitches. They've hit some good pitches.
Had 1 hit coming in. They have 5 hits now, and they have hit the ball sharply. Highlighted by the home run by Bonds. Curveball got him. So Gooden gets out of further damage. 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 left. After 6, 3-1, Pittsburgh. Ralph Kiner joins Steve after this from your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Night has fallen on the Metropolitan Life blimp. Pilot Mike Fitzpatrick, cameraman Bob Michelson, getting us some beautiful shots. And there's one of them. Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. That stadium was not here in this town when the man who created Kiner's Corner in Forbes Field used to hit him out. But here he is, Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Steve. And there was a ballpark right here years ago. It was the site of the original ballpark that the Pirates played in way back when. 1909 was when they went to Forbes Field. And for the Mets, Gary Carter, the lead it off. Mets trailing 3-1. Carter 0 for 2 has grounded out the third the 2 times he has been up. And there's a smash by third, and Carter leads off here in the 7th inning with a single. So the hits are all even at 5 apiece. But the Pirates lead by a score of 3-1, and the batter will be Howard Johnson, who has accounted for the Mets' 1 run. A bullet hit over the right field fence, and that ball got out of here before you could say Jack Robinson.
Or anything else, for that matter.
Johnson's 19th home run. Bobby Bonds with a 2-run home run to put the Pirates up 2-1, got his 19th home run. So Drabek to Howard Johnson, and it's ball 1.
Now that you're in here, Ralphie, it's only appropriate that I take a moment to wish happy birthday to a special person who used to watch you play at Forbes Field all the time and rooted hard for you to hit those balls out. My dear mother-in-law, Gloria Hurley, whose birthday is today. Happy birthday, dear.
Well, happy birthday. And now a pitch for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes.
No score yet in Houston. The Dodgers and the Astros, as that race is really tightened up. They're in the 2nd inning in the Dome.
Houston 2.5 back of the Dodgers. San Francisco 4.5 back. 2 balls, no strikes. 2-1. Johnson has made good contact twice. He has lined out. That was back in the 2nd. And his home run in the 5th. To 3 balls and 1 strike. Drabek has had 3 complete games this year. One of them a shutout. And he brought a 5-game winning streak into this game. His last loss was to the Mets back on June 21st, when he gave up the Grand Slam home run to Kevin McReynolds. Ball 4, so the Mets now have the time run on. And that is the first walk since the first inning by Drabek.
Drabek doesn't walk many, and now the infield's going to come in for a meeting with Elster the batter and runners at 1st and 2nd, and the possibility of a sacrifice bunt. Jeff Robinson and David Rucker are beginning to throw in the Pirate bullpen. We'll see what the Pirates decide to do. They could employ the rotation play because Carter is the runner at 2nd, and he does not possess good speed. Consequently, they might feel that, especially on artificial surface, they'd have a chance to force him at 3rd.
If you recall, back in the Chicago Cubs series, Lee Mazzilli was a scheduled batter with a runner at 1st, and Kevin Elster was set up to bunt for him. He missed the first strike on a bunt attempt, missed a hit-and-run play as he fouled the ball off, and then bunted foul for the out. You're watching Mets Baseball 88 on WWOR-TV, Secaucus, New Jersey. Elster 1 for 2. He has a base hit, a single up the middle, following Howard Johnson's home run in the 5th inning. Behind Elster, the Dwight Gooden, the scheduled batter. Pirates looking for the sacrifice. And the shortstop Belliard coming over to cover at 2nd, but no play. Belliard, a very deep shortstop. And Elster squares and takes a strike. A throw to second base, and Carter is picked off second.
Gary thought he had his hand back in, and Davy Johnson's coming out to argue. Greg Bonet The rookie umpire making the call at second, and Davy Johnson takes over the argument.
What a big play for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Wally Backman was picked off after leading off the 6th inning. Look at Mike LaValliere. He sees Belliard coming in behind Carter. Gary dives back in. He thought he had his left hand on the bag before the tag. But he's called out. Gary trying to get that break. Trying not to be forced. There's the tag. Was it made before the hand got there? The ball did beat him. But was the tag made before Carter's hand hit the bag? See, Belliard's leg is right on top of Gary's hand. Watch Gary's hand go in. Belliard's lower leg comes down. He's safe.
He's certainly safe on that replay. But he's not safe in the ball game, as he's been called out by Greg Bonet. And the Mets lose a big out here in this inning. 1 man away now, a runner only at first. And they count 1-1 on Kevin Elster. And, of course, the sacrifice is off now.
Second base runner the Mets have had on, who had led off an inning with a base hit, who has been picked off. And they have come in the last 2 innings.
Backman back in the 6th inning. Carter here in the 7th. Howard Johnson getting back safely at first. Graybeck has picked 4 runners off at first base this year. One ball, 1 strike to count. And the slider way outside, 2-1.
These kinds of things that have happened to the Mets, coupled with their inability to advance runners in the first place, probably the biggest single factors to the lack of run production of late. They've been getting people on. They've just been leaving them where they originally get to, and in this case, getting picked off.
And this ball popped up. It's playable for Sid Bream. 2 men away.
Again, an out is made without advancing a base runner.
And in this case, losing a base runner.
The Mets go from first and second and nobody out to a runner at first with 2 out, basically because of an inability to execute fundamentals.
Counting this ball game, in the last 6 meetings between these 2 clubs, the Pirates have scored 13 runs and the Mets have scored 12. But the Mets have won 4 of the 5, and we're going to have Lee Mazzilli as a pinch hitter. And the Pirates lead in this one by a score of 3-1. So Dwight Gooden leaves the ball game for the pinch hitter Lee Mazzilli.
Baz hitting only 146 on the year after an outstanding year of pinch hitting last season. He is 5 for 20 as a pinch hitter.
And those 5 base hits as a pinch hitter have come in his last 15 at-bats. He has had 5 hits, 1 walk, 1 sacrifice fly in his last 15 official at-bats as a pinch hitter. And that one gets away from LaValliere, and moving on down to second is Howard Johnson.
It'll probably be scored a wild pitch as the ball was in the dirt. Graybeck's ball hit right behind the plate. LaValliere played it to come up, and it didn't come up. It stayed down right under Mike.
So now the Mets are runner at second with 2 men out. And a 1-ball, no strike count to Lee Mazzilli. It is scored officially as a wild pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. Mazzilli tied with Wallace Johnson for the most pinch hits in the National League last year with 17. Lee Mazzilli played for the Pittsburgh Pirates as well as the Mets before. And it goes away from the strike zone, so it's 3-0 to Mazzilli. On deck batter for the Mets, Lenny Dykstra. And action in the bullpen for Pittsburgh. There is Lenny Dykstra. Takes a 3-0 pitch for a strike, 3-1. Mets trailing by 2. 2 men out, top of the 7th inning. Looped into right field, and it will be a base hit. Coming around the score is Johnson, and the Mets pick up one as Lee Mazzilli comes through with his 6th pinch hit of the year. And he picks up a very valuable run batted in.
It wasn't pretty, but it certainly was effective. Maz gets under this ball, and look at Leaned. Leaned almost gets to it. He is some kind of specimen. Howard Johnson with 2 out, running all the way, scores easily. And Mazzilli picks up his 6th pinch hit RBI and makes it another 1-run ball game, 3-2 Pittsburgh.
And that pickoff at second base looms very, very large. And we're going to have a pitching change as Jim Leland goes out to take the ball from Doug Drabek, who leaves the ball game leading by a score of 3-2. Going to be the left-hander Rucker, Dave Rucker, who was in last night's ball game. So while Rucker comes in to warm up, here's a word from Siemens.
Dave Rucker makes his 22nd appearance of the year. His 21st was last night. He's 0-1 with no saves and a 4.12 ERA, working just 19 2/3 innings. So you can see this is his 22nd appearance, and he's only worked 19 2/3 innings. He is a specialty pitcher.
And he gave up that 2-run home run to Keith Hernandez to put the Mets on top. The loss charge to Bob Walk, who had put the go-ahead run on base when Wally Backman had doubled. And for the Mets, we're going to have Mookie Wilson as a pinch hitter for Lenny Dykstra. So with the left-hander in, the left-hand batter Dykstra is out of the ball game, and the switch hitter Mookie Wilson to bat for Dykstra, and the throw to first base, Mazzilli back.
Mookie's 4 for 16 as a pinch hitter with 3 pinch hit RBIs.
And Mookie hits a high fly ball out to right center field. Moving over is R.J. Reynolds, and Rucker gets the job done. Mets do pick up 1 run. On 2 hits, they leave 1, and the score at the end of 6.5 innings, the Pirates 3 and the Mets 2. Now here's a word from Bud Light.
Nobody tells it like the Daily News.
You know what? There's some people out there who say I'm controversial. And you know what else? They're right.
New York's hometown favorite.
Hi, I'm Roger McDowell here with a few of my friends, and we are all members of the Farmland Dairies Junior Mets Club. Mets fans 14 and under can join us for all this season's fun and excitement by becoming a member of the 1988 Junior Mets Club. Our all-new Junior Mets Club kit contains exclusive items from the Mets and Farmland Dairies, including a Junior Mets digital sports watch, a membership card, discount ticket coupons to Junior Mets games, special edition baseball cards, an invitation to an instructional baseball clinic, and much more. To join, send your check or money order for $6 or $5 with 2 proofs of purchase from Farmland Dairies Milk to Junior Mets Club, P.O. Box 4777, Trenton, New Jersey, 08650. Please include your name, address, telephone number, and age. Allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. Join our Junior Mets Club today.
Mookie Wilson stays in the ball game. He was the pinch hitter for Lenny Dykstra. Mookie will take Dykstra's spot in center field, and we have a new pitcher.
Left-hander Bob McClure making his 6th appearance as a New York Met. Overall this year, his 25th appearance. He's 1-3 with 2 saves and a 5.24 earned run average. As a Met, he does not have a win, nor a loss, nor a save as yet.
And he will be pitching to the left-hand batter, Mike LaValliere. McClure picked up as a free agent by the New York Mets. His first pitch, a fastball, fouled off, strike 1. LaValliere 0 for 2. He twice has grounded back to the pitcher.
Spanky's been in a tailspin just like Belliard, 4 for his last 37.
He can't hit at all without runners in scoring position.
375 with runners in scoring position, and he's in a tailspin where he's barely hitting a buck.
And that pitch, a ball in the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. LaValliere with 37 home runs, and none of them coming unless the runners were at second or third.
I mean 37 RBIs.
RBIs, right. This one hit to deep right center field. Wilson back to the edge of the warning track, and he hauls it in.
Dwight Gooden went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. He struck out only 1 batter tonight. That was on a breaking ball to R.J. Reynolds, and he walked 2. I'm sorry, he struck out 3 hitters.
All 3 strikeouts on curveballs, none on fastballs. R.J. Reynolds on the curve, Rafael Belliard on the curveball, and R.J. Reynolds on the curve. And now Rafael Belliard fouls off a fastball. Belliard 0 for 2 has struck out and grounded out. He is 0 for 19 in his last 7 games. And he is 4 for 51 in his last 18 games. Little change of pace, sort of like a screwball there, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Pirates won 12 out of 13, including 9 straight to get within 1/2 game of the Mets. Fly ball out to right, Strawberry right there. And Darrell puts it away. Since then, they have lost 10 of their last 14, not counting this ball game, and they are 5 games back. Pitcher Dave Rucker. That'll bring up Dave Rucker.
Dave doesn't have a hit this year.
And the first pitch, a breaking ball for a called strike. He's only been up 1 time. This is his second shot at having another at bat. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's that. Make that 2 strikes, and now 3, and Rucker goes down on 3 pitches, and that ends the inning. 1, 2, 3 for McClure, and the score at the end of 7, the Pirates 3 and the Mets 2. Now here's a word from Nissan. Well, a smart move by Jim Leyland as Tim Teufel was announced as a pinch hitter as the Mets switched because of the left-hander Dave Rucker on the mound. Teufel in the ball game, and then Rucker was pulled out, and they're coming in with a right-hander. So while we have a new pitcher in the ball game warming up, we'll use the opportunity to hear this word from the New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages.
Pirates have the ace of their bullpen, right-hander Jim Gott out there, making his 45th appearance. He's tied for 6th in the league with Randy Myers of the Mets with 17 saves, and he's 5-3 with a 2.61 ERA. And here we go again. Teufel and Gott. We have Gott pitching to Teufel.
And in German, Gott is the German word for God, and Tuffle is the German word for devil. And the first pitch is ball one. This move by Jim Leyland certainly did not surprise Davy Johnson. He, I'm sure, was right on top of it. And Tuffle is not that bad a hitter against right-hand pitching. In fact, he hits right-handers about as well as left-handers. 241 average. And a good breaking ball, slider there, and it's 1-2. Leading by a score of 3-2, top of the 8th inning. And the slider just outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Pirates have had base hits in only 2 innings. The first inning they had 1. In the 6th inning they had 4, but they lead it 3-2 as they bunch their 4 hits in the 6th inning to pick up 3 runs. All the other innings they went down 1-2-3. And Gott slips there, and it's 3-2.
Speaking of going down, Jim Gott went down to one knee, and the ball wound up about 56 feet is all. Jimmy really almost did the splits.
So it's a 3-2 count to Tuffle as a pinch hitter for Wally Backman, who was 1 for 2 in the game. And a ground ball pulled foul. Tuffle is Dave Magadan and Darryl Strawberry, 2 left-hand batters. Gott has been a godsend.
Well, he has really made the difference in their bullpen. He has become the closer, and for the most part has been extremely effective.
Picked up from the San Francisco Giants. And it's ball 4, so Tuffle walks, and the Mets have the tying run at first with no one out here in the top of the 8th inning.
Let's bring you up to date on the Nissan National League scoreboard. Late in the evening, Montreal right on the heels of Pittsburgh, 5-4 over St. Louis today. Chicago beat Philadelphia 7-4 in the 8th inning. The Padres leading the Reds 2-1. In the 5th inning, Atlanta shutting out the Giants 2-0. And now in the bottom of the 2nd in the Astrodome, LA Houston still no score.
So the Mets with a runner at first, trailing by 1. And Dave Magadan the batter. Dave 1 for 3. And the first pitch to Magadan is taken for a ball, and it's a balk call on Gott. The Mets have the tying run at second with no one out here in the 8th inning.
Well, we come back to the discernible stop again. I think what he's calling is that Jim Gott's hands reached his belt, and then immediately his front leg came up. There was no real pause in between the 2 motions. And from the interpretation of the rule, Ralph, you'd have to say it was a balk, whether you like the rule or not.
3 balks by Gott, and this ball is fouled back. 1 strike to count.
And it could turn out to be a big one because it has moved the tying run into scoring position.
It's almost imperative here that Magadan pull the ball to the right side. So Tuffle can get the 3rd even if he makes an out. Hits it hard at the second baseman Lane, who takes it on the short hop. And Magadan gets the runner over as he hits it hard to second and is out, but Tuffle's at 3rd with 1 man away.
And that ball came awfully close to being a double play. Jose leaned as this ball is laced right at him. Had to short hop this ball, but think about the number of inches we're talking about between short hopping that ball, catching it on the fly, and throwing to second for a double play.
And that's why it's so hard to win ball games. At best, you play 600 ball, winning 6 and losing 4, even the best clubs. And the breaking ball is outside ball 1 to Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry 0 for 3 tonight. to second, flat out to left twice. Infield fairly short, but not in totally. And this ball hit right off the end of the bat. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the things as you look at the infield in halfway that has made Jim Gott so effective is that most of what he throws is hard and goes down. Ray Miller, the pitching coach, is coming out to talk to Jim. Perhaps Ray has seen something that he doesn't really like in Gott's delivery.
Certainly can't argue with Gott's success. Involved in 22 of the Pirates' wins, 5 victories, 17 saves. Was a victim of a dramatic 2-out, 2-strike home run by Howard Johnson that saw the Mets tie up the ballgame in the 9th inning and later on win it.
And other than that, Gott's been pretty tough on the Mets.
And it's bounced out to the second baseman. Lean is thinking about coming home, but he comes home too late. And Strawberry is safe at first as the Mets tie the game. Good base running by Tim Teufel. Lean, who was not quite in far enough, had no chance for the play at the plate, but tried to make it anyway.
Well, one thing you can do on the artificial surface is not play all the way in. But Strawberry pounded the ball down into the ground. It wasn't sharply hit. And as you can see, LaValliere tried to block the plate. Lean was charging and throwing hard. But Teufel, with a good break from third, slid right around LaValliere. Almost semi-through LaValliere. And John McSherry right over the play to make the call. An RBI for Strawberry, and the game is tied.
So Doc Gooden is off the hook on the losing side, and Drabek loses his chance to pick up a victory in his 6th consecutive ball game. Drabek with a record of 10-5. And McReynolds takes high for ball 1. McReynolds 0 for 3 tonight. Of course, a good base runner with 21 stolen bases, but he does not go. And this ball driven up the alley in left center field. It might be a run-scoring double. It's a bad break for the Mets as it goes over the fence for a grounds rule double. Otherwise, the Mets would have taken the lead. So a bad break for the Mets, a good break for the Pirates, as the ball does not hit the fence and stay in play.
You saw Ed Montague, or rather Fred Brocklander, the third base umpire, making the call of the ground rule double. Boy, McReynolds laces this ball. If this is on a natural surface, it probably doesn't go over. It lands on the edge of the turf and the warning track and bounds over the fence to the backdrop behind. Watch this swing by Kevin McReynolds. Drives that ball, head right on it, and there's Freddie saying 2 bases. Strawberry held at third.
And now the batter's Carter, and another balk is called, and the Mets get a run. Jim Gott walking in a run, and the Mets take the lead 4-3. And here comes Jim Leland out to argue with home plate umpire John McSherry.
Leland is absolutely livid. And they called Jim apparently for exactly the same thing they called before. When the hands, under the strict interpretation of the rule as it is being done this year, come to the set position, whether it's the chest, the belt, or wherever, from the stretch, there must be a period of time that is called a discernible stop under the interpretation of the rule between that movement ceasing and the next movement by the pitcher beginning. And what Jim is apparently doing is bringing his hands to a stop and then immediately lifting his leg. They called it with Teufel at first, moving him to second to lead off this inning. And they called it here again to score Strawberry and move McReynolds to third.
All the balks and walks have gotten to Gott. Walk to lead off the inning, and now the pitch to Carter, and it's out of the strike zone for ball one. Carter with a base hit his last time up, 1 for 3. Infield is in for a play at the plate. And this ball lined down the left field line, but it's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pirates with the infield in all the way around. They don't want to give up another one.
And that pitch a ball, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. This inning has been a disaster for the Pirates. A walk to start the inning, and then the balk, and then the ground out by Magadan to move the runner to third. Then a bad decision by the second baseman throwing home, trying to pick up Tuffle, trying to score. Strawberry reaching first base on the fielder's choice. And a double by McReynolds, and then the balk for another run. And the Mets now with runners, with a runner at third with 1 man out, and a 3-1 count on Gary Carter. Three balls, 1 strike. And ball 4, and Carter walks. And that puts runners at first and third and brings up Howard Johnson. Second walk in the inning by Jim Gott.
That's the Pirate bullpen, and that stop sign was put up by pitching coach Ray Miller to remind the Pirate pitchers that they have to stop when they're pitching from the stretch.
Well, Miller can write out some citations after this game tonight for going through the stop sign. Runners at third and first. Howard Johnson the batter. Howard with a home run in this ball game. That put the Mets up by a score of 1-0. It came in the 5th, his 19th home run of the year, and the Pirates are playing their infield back at short and second for the double play. And the first pitch, a breaking ball, a called strike. Infield back at short and second for the double play. Howard, a tough man to double. He gets down that line in a hurry.
Especially from the left side.
And a swing and a miss. Strike 2.
In Houston, still no score. Now they're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Dodgers and the Astros separated by just 2.5 games now in the National League West.
Mets with 2 runs in, leading 4-3. Runners at first and third, 1 man out, top of the 8th inning. Johnson is struck out, and that's a big strikeout for Gott.
Well, you kind of hate to keep talking about it, but the Mets keep doing it. A runner at third, less than 2 out, and they can't make at least the kind of out that would even advance the other runner, or either of the runners in this case.
They did do it once here in this inning when Dave Magadan pulled the ball to the second base side to advance Tuffle to third. That took place with no one out, so the Mets got a runner at third where he did score in a fielder's choice. But they are few and far between. Now the batter, Kevin Elster. Elster with 1 hit in 3 at-bats. A single up the middle off a slider, and he moves into bunting position to bunt for a base hit. And has to spin out of the way as a fastball is high and tight.
Elster made it closer than it really was by the fact that he was moving in on the ball. And speaking of moving in, Bobby Bonilla moved in about halfway from where he was, playing very deep at third. Still not even with the bag, though.
And Elster takes another, and it's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Bobby Bonilla, an unusual positioning, sort of positions himself side saddle at third.
Well, that's usually an indication that a player has a problem going one way or the other, and they're trying to cheat a little bit to help out on the weak side. You can see Bobby's left foot is farther back than his right foot. And more often than not, that's the way he will approach a pitch.
So the count goes to 2-1 on the swinging strike.
Jim Gott, a proponent of the split finger fastball from his days under the tutelage of Roger Craig at San Francisco before he became a Pirate. Ground ball foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sellout crowd here at Three Rivers Stadium. Third sellout of the year for the Pirates. Opening day, an earlier date with the Mets, and now this one. No one has left this ballpark. And it is another balk, and the Mets get another run as Jim Gott has balked in 2 runners from third base and another to second, and the Mets take the lead by a score of 5-3. And here comes Jim Leyland. That balk was called by the second base umpire Greg Bonet, and you saw Jim Gott turn around in anger and disbelief when that call was made. The pitch that he threw could have very well been called a strike, Ralph. It was that close. And a 2-2 pitch. And Leyland going right to Bonet. Bonet had an argument with Davey Johnson and Gary Carter earlier on the pickoff of Carter at second. And Leyland has given him what for. Ed Montague trying to referee a little bit. Chief John McSherry trying to break things up. Well, we talked about it before. Let's look at Jim Gott's movement here. Well, I tell you what, I can't see where that's a balk.
Well, it's not a very discernible stop, but there is a stop.
It's discernible, but it's not long.
If Leyland stays in this game, it'll be a miracle.
Taking up the fight with Ed Montague now. But see, Ralph, it goes back to what we talked about last night and what we talked about the other night in New York. I tell you what, Big John may run him right here if he doesn't back off. Greg Bonet, instead of walking away from Leyland, stayed there in the confrontation. Umpires have every right to defend themselves when they make a call, but you didn't used to see umpires be argumentative, and you're seeing it more and more. I just cannot believe that that would be called a balk myself. It wasn't a long stop, but it was a discernible stop. The first one, yes. The second one, maybe. That one, I don't agree.
So now back to the action. There is a long stop right there. A little late though, Jim. 3 balks in the inning. Bounces away, but not far enough. Carter holds at second base. The count goes to 3-2. They're going to be talking about this one for a long time if the Pirates lose this game. They'll be talking about it anyway.
Well, you kind of thought that the controversy over box deciding ball games had been laid to rest for a while, but here it is again.
3-2 to Kevin Elster. And ball 4, the third walk given up by Jim Gott in this inning. He has walked 3. He has walked 3 times. And the Bucs have led to 3 runs for the New York Mets, and they lead it by a score of 5-3. And with 2 men out, the batter will be a pinch hitter as you look at Jim Leyland go back out to the mound, and this will be all for Jim Gott.
Well, I think he's got to take him out. Not because Mackey Sasser is a left-handed hitter, but Jim is just, now he's talking to Greg Bonet again. They're going jaw to jaw. Fred Brocklander coming over trying to keep the peace. I know Jim Gott very well. It takes a tremendous amount to get him upset. And as big as he is, it's a good thing. But he just came unglued here tonight. It started when he walked Tuffle to open the inning and then balked him to second. That was a legitimate balk. And the wheels came off, and the Mets have taken the lead.
So while we wait for the new pitcher to come into the ball game, here's a word from MetLife.
Here's Jeff Robinson, who is 8-2 on the year with 8 saves, as he comes into the game with a very fine ERA of 2.90. He replaces Jim Gott, who only lasts 2/3 of an inning, but it may have been the longest 2/3 of an inning of Jim's career, as he gave up 3 runs on 3 walks and 3 balks. He only gave up 1 hit. Jim Leyland involved in more than 1 argument during the inning, as was Gott. And Leyland hanging on to being in this game by his fingernails. But he's still managing the team. Greg Bonet involved in the controversy, the second base umpire.
And for the Mets, the pinch hitter will be Mackey Sasser. Mackey is a pinch hitter, 3 for 14. A runner at first, a runner at second, 2 men away. Swing and a miss. Sasser hitting .256 for the year with 1 home run, 13 runs batted in.
You saw that split finger from Jeff Robinson. He too was with Gott in San Francisco under Roger Craig before they both came to Pittsburgh.
And this ball hit out to the shortstop, Belliard. He can't make the play at second, goes over to first to pick up the out that ends the inning. But a big inning for the Mets, a disastrous one for the Pirates, as the Mets scored 3 runs on just 1 hit, but there were 3 balks and 3 walks, and the Mets leave 2 men on. The score at the end of 7.5 innings, the Mets 5 and the Pirates 3. And now here's a word from the good old guys. Tim Tuffle will stay in the ball game and play second base. He was a pinch hitter for Wally Backman. And a new pitcher for the Mets, it's Randy Myers. Randy comes in with a record of 5 wins and 1 loss. He has 17 saves, an earned run average of 1.19. He's walked 8, struck out 42, given up only 27 hits in 45 and the 3rd innings. Randy was in last night's ball game and picked up the save in that one.
And Barry Bonds leads it off and fouls the first pitch back for strike 1. Bonds in the ball game 2 for 3. He had the big 2-run home run in the 6th inning that gave the Pirates a lead, albeit short-lived. Strike 2. Bonds now at 19 home runs. He probably would be 20-20 if he hadn't hurt his knee. He only has 13 stolen bases, and he was caught stealing in this ball game. Still has a chance to join the 20-20 club at least this year. 20 homers and 20 stolen bases. balls and 2 strikes. Bonds will be followed by Lind and then Van Slyke as the Mets lead it 5-3 after a strange top of the 8th. Strike 3 call. Bonds caught looking for out number 1.
This is a bullet right over the outside corner at Deniz, and this ball was thrown with a lot of velocity.
Barry may still be looking for it. It's one where you say it sounded low.
Sounded low.
Jose Lind takes high and away, ball 1. Jose is in a rut. He is grounded to Howard Johnson at third all 3 times up. One time, Johnson made a fine backhand play on an in-between hop to get him. Foul back into the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tremblehorn, the manager, said about Roger Clemens when they were facing Clemens in a day ball game, we'll do better because our boys hear better in the daytime.
You can't hope to see it any better. Another one fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Update in Houston, the Dodgers finally got on the board. They scored 2, and they laid 2-0 in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Houston 2.5 back of the Dodgers.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Jose Lind. Got him. Myers brought his heat with him from the bullpen. 2 outstanding fastballs and 2 strikeouts.
This one's upstairs, and Myers put it right through the strike zone.
So 2 out and nobody on for Andy Van Slyke. Van Slyke is 1 for 2. He has walked as well. He singled and scored in the 6th. That'll be out of play down the left field line for strike 1. Andy now with a 7-game hitting streak. Leading the majors in triples with 14. And there's Keith Hernandez. Relegated to the bench after coming back last night with a double and a home run, a game winner at that. Keith held out for precautionary reasons. More heat from Myers. 0-2 to Van Slyke. Randy has a little routine here. He comes off the mound, looks into the dugout, walks around in a circle back to the rubber.
Getting more like Grabowski every day.
High and away. Looking into the dugout again, walking around. Keith and Bob McClure and others, Mel Stottlemyre on the left, enjoying the antics of Randy Myers. A little bit high. Randy will look in the dugout, fix his cap, walk around in the same circle and go back to the rubber. Two balls, 2 strikes. Foul back out of play. Still 2-2. Randy's routine got interrupted, but now he's going to take the same circle route. Oh, I got to look in the dugout. Okay. I almost forgot. 2-2 with 2 out and nobody on. Mets up by 2 in the bottom of the 8th. Another one fouled off. And that time Myers did not look into the dugout. Hit right field. A 2-out single by Andy Van Slyke after a very good at bat. He really battled Myers. Finally got something he could handle and handled it.
Well, Van Slyke hit him 188 against left-hand pitching this year, but he stayed with Randy right here and finally took that fastball to right field. So that puts a time run to the plate.
And then that tying run represented by Bobby Bonilla, who is 0 for 2 plus a walk. Fastball popped up into right field. Strawberry has it, and the inning is over. Myers strikes out 2, 1 hit and 1 left in the 8th for Pittsburgh. We go to the 9th with New York leading at 5-3. Keith Hernandez cheering him on after this for AT&T.
Hi, I'm Ron Darling, reminding you to keep watching Channel 9 for the news at 10. The latest news, weather, and sports coming up right after the game.
The MetLife blimp giving us a beautiful view on this night where the rain is held off and the Mets lead 5-3 going to the 9th. And here's Mookie Wilson to face Jeff Robinson, and Mookie takes low, ball 1. Mookie flied to right his first time up, pinch hitting in the 7th inning. In the dirt, ball 2. The 8th inning, the big inning for the Mets. Jim Gott came on in an effort to close the door. Walked the leadoff hitter Tim Teufel, committed 3 balks to go with 3 walks and only 1 base hit in the inning, and the Mets scored 3. Popped up out of play behind home plate. 2 balls, 1 strike to Mookie.
Well, a big part of that balk rule is deceiving the base runner, and at no time was there any part of it deception involved.
Line drive, base hit, right field. Mookie got one up and handled it nicely. First hit off Robinson, and the Mets with the leadoff batter on a board again.
Mookie out right on top of this fastball as he gets a base hit. Good stroke by Mookie to pick up his first base hit. 1 for 2. Dykstra, who played center field ahead of him, 0 for 3 today.
Here's Tim Teufel to bat for the second time. Teufel walked, leading off the 8th. And Mookie draws the throw. Mookie had a pretty good lead and again draws Robinson's attention. Mookie fakes going. Teufel takes low and away, ball 1.
I think Teufel was taking that pitch all the way to allow Mookie to steal, but evidently Mookie didn't feel he had a good enough jump.
Mookie runs this time, and Bonilla will have to go to first. He gets Teufel, and Wilson now at second with 1 out.
First baseman, Dave Magadan.
So Dave Magadan will be the hitter. Magadan 1 for 4, single to right in the 6th inning. Ball 1.
Magadan, a big part of that 8th inning when he pulled a ground ball to the right side to allow Teufel, who was balked to second, to get over to third with 1 man out.
A strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Greg Johnson, the media director for the Pirates, has informed us that the 3 balks in an inning ties a major league record. It has happened now 5 times. The first time was by Milburn Schaffner back on May 12, 1930. Good play by LaValliere. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jim Owens did it in 1963 with Cincinnati. Bob Shaw for Milwaukee in 1963 also. And Don Heinkel of Detroit did it this year against Oakland, 1988.
1963, the year they also wanted to enforce the balk rule. Bob Shaw balked 5 times in one game for a record.
That was probably the same game in which he committed 3 in 1 inning.
I would think so. That was a year just like this year. They said, we're going to enforce the stop rule.
Jim Owens and Bob Shaw were enforced, just like Jim Gott was tonight. So the 5th time in Major League history. Magadan knew it. A strike over the inside half. 2 balls and 2 strikes. David gave up on that ball, and it backdoored him a little. To 3 New York in the top of the 9th inning. Wilson at second with 1 out. 3-2 now to Magadan. Waiting patiently for the bottom of the 9th inning. You can almost feel it, can't you, Ron?
That's what they're waiting for.
Magadan hits it in the air to right field. R.J. Reynolds comes in. Wilson will have no chance to advance to third. So Mookie remaining at second now with 2 out.
I'll bring up Darryl Strawberry, and we'll wonder right now whether or not they'll pitch to Strawberry.
Well, with first base open and a right-handed hitter in Kevin McReynolds on deck, Pirates really, if they have any hope in the bottom of the 9th, can't afford to give up any more runs. I guess that would mean, Ralph, that the prudent thing to do would be to walk him. Jim Leyland has said earlier that he was going to walk Strawberry anytime he felt he needed to.
He walked Strawberry with runners at first and third back in June, and then McReynolds followed with a grand slam home run. That was a game pitched by Drabek. It was tied at 0-0 when McReynolds hit the home run. The Mets won that game 6-2.
Well, if they're going to pitch around Darryl, that's all they're going to do, because they're not going to walk him intentionally, at least not yet. And the split finger fastball for strike 1.
And that pitch was out of the strike zone. Darrell's got to realize he's not going to see anything in that strike zone.
If you go up there as a hitter in Strawberry's position right now, you almost go up there with the idea that you're going to take 1 strike.
You have to have a lot of restraint in this spot.
Make him throw you a ball in the strike zone. Another one down low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wilson at second with 2 out, and Kevin McReynolds on deck. 3-1.
And he should be on first base as he swung at that pitch out of the strike zone. The first pitch to him.
The unintentional intentional. In effect. Strikes. Well, somewhere near here, probably over on the point, as a part of the regatta, somebody set off some fireworks. Much to the delight of those in the stadium who could see them. bouncer that Robinson handles. He throws to first in time, and the inning is over. 1 hit and 1 left in the ninth for New York. Now they'll get rocking here at Three Rivers as we go to the bottom of the ninth, with the Mets leading 5-3 after this for Ivory Soap. With a video of John Belushi on the message board, the crowd saying, "Let's do it." In the ninth inning, they trail by 2. And Mets Best Baseball is being brought to you tonight by Budweiser. Beechwood H for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Manufacturers Hanover, the financial source worldwide. Sid Bream leads it off against Randy Myers and fouls it off for strike 1. Bream tonight 1 for 3. Is fly to left, grounded to third, and single to right. He'll be followed by R.J. Reynolds and Mike LaValliere, the 3 scheduled hitters in the ninth for Pittsburgh. Randy Myers working in relief of Bob McClure, who relieved Dwight Gooden. High and tight. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Bream, a big base hit back in the 6th inning to drive in a run. That put the Pirates up by a score of 3-1 at that point.
Two balls, 1 strike. Base hit into center field. The Pirates will bring the tying run to the plate in the ninth inning with nobody out.
Bream hangs tough against the left-hander. He'd had trouble with left-handers all year long, but he hangs there against Randy Myers, and the Pirates have something going.
R.J. Reynolds 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Takes high, ball 1. Carter wants time. Bream will stop at second. And now the Pirates can bring the potential winning run to the plate.
Well, Reynolds follows Bream with a pitch. A base hit on a pitch that was high out of the strike zone. He gets it through the infield. Action in the bullpen for the Mets. The tying run is at first with no one out.
And a pinch hitter for Mike LaValliere. It's going to be Tom Prince. As John McSherry signals to the press box above. And Prince will have a conference with third base coach Gene Lamont, while the Mets have an infield conference, and Davey Johnson is going to the mound as well. We were telling you, Mets Baseball 88 is being brought to you this evening by those other folks, as well as Nissan Cars and Trucks, built for the most important race of all, the human race. By RC Cola. Some people go out of their way for the taste of RC. By New York Telephone, who reminds you that a call can make a difference. And by your Lincoln Mercury dealer. Randy Myers leading the ball game after giving up back-to-back base hits to open the ninth inning. And here comes Roger McDowell, as Tom Prince had been announced as the pinch hitter. So while Roger warms up, we'll take time out for this word from Manufacturers Hanover.
Roger McDowell on the mound in relief for Randy Myers. Roger with a record of 4 wins and 2 losses. He has an earned run average of .211. He's walked 25, struck out 29, given up 49 hits in 64 innings. And he has a chance to pick up his 11th save But he's working with the time run at first and no one out, and a pinch hitter coming up.
The inning started with Sid Bream battling Randy Myers and singling to center field. R.J. Reynolds hit a pitch that may have been over his head for a base hit to left field. And now Tom Prince will pinch hit for Mike LaValliere.
Tom's first pinch hitting appearance in his major league career. He has been up 4 times this year without a base hit. What a spot for a young ball player. He'll be in a sacrifice situation right here.
Well, you can just see him trying to relax himself. Bream, the runner at second. R.J. Reynolds at first with the tying run. Nobody out. Prince to bunt. Gets it down. McDowell goes to third in plenty of time. Johnson to first. Double play. Tuffle covering for the double play as the Mets turn it. And now the Pirates can only bring the tying run to the plate.
Well, I don't know how he bunts this ball. It's right at him. But somehow or other, he gets the bat in front of him and bunts the ball. And now McDowell, with his great agility, turns it into a double play. A perfect throw to Johnson. Johnson sort of first not that good, but it's there in time as Tuffle takes the throw. And the double play on the bunt. And the Mets now have a situation with the time run at the plate, but the Pirates down to their last out.
And the pinch hitter is going to be Mike Diaz for Rafael Belliard. So Jim Leyland trying to go for the pump here and see if Diaz can at least keep the inning alive and at the best hit one out of here and tie the game. Diaz hitting just .215 on the year with no home runs and 5 RBIs.
He has been a devastating pinch hitter, but this year he's only had 2 hits and 15 at-bats. He has driven in 2. And he has done a lot of that big pinch hitting against the New York Mets.
He has been tough on New York. Boy, what a play by Roger McDowell and Howard Johnson to turn the bunt into a double play. McDowell's tremendous athletic ability coming to the forefront once again. Diaz with a half swing for strike 1.
And listen to this one. He has hit a 3-run pinch hit home run off McDowell. That was back last year, so he has the ability to hit that ball out of the ballpark.
One and one. Roger McDowell has only allowed 1 home run all year. Roger working in his 65th inning. And he has only allowed 1 dinger. A good sinker for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Coming into this year, Diaz has hit 4 home runs against the Mets and hit .387. And he's driven in 13 runs as he has done a job against the Mets.
And he's trying to do it again as 2 games in the standings ride on the outcome of this one. Got him swinging and the Mets win it. Roger McDowell with a double play on the bunt and the strikeout of Mike Diaz. Keith Hernandez, one of the first out to congratulate him. And the Mets come from behind with the help of Jim Gott's problems in the 8th inning when they scored 3 as they win it 5-3 and have taken the first 2 games of this series with the Pirates, just as they did in New York. And the Mets now lead the Pirates by 6 games in the National League East. And those Montreal Expos are right behind 7 back of New York. McDowell picks up save number 11 in relief. Ralph and I'll be back with a wrap-up from Three Rivers right after this for Budweiser. Who's a loser? Steve Zabriskie and Ralph Kiner, as well as Tim McCarver, back here at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. A very unusual evening as the Mets are now 6 games in front of the Pittsburgh Pirates, winning this one 5-3 in strange fashion. 3 balks, 3 walks in the 8th inning by Jim Gott. And the Mets coming from behind first of all, and then falling behind, and eventually winning the ball game, and Roger McDowell slamming the door. Just when you think you've seen it all, Ralph, something else happens.
Well, Jim Gott, of course, the victim of those 3 balk calls. One of them set up a runner at second, and then Magadan got him over to third, and he scored on the balk call, and then the Mets got another run on a balk call, and that was really the big difference in the ball game as they won it 5-3. But you can't say enough about Roger McDowell, who came in the game with a tying run on at first base, and he really did the job, and he is the Budweiser star of the game. Watch this double play on the bunt attempt by Prince. They pick up the out at third in the force play, and then the throw to Tuffle at first base completes it. And then Roger came back to strike out the final batter as he struck out Mike Diaz to pick up the save.
So Roger McDowell, the Budweiser player of the game, as the Pirates went from first and second and nobody out to a runner at second and 2 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. McDowell picks up save number 11. Bob McClure, who picks up 1 inning of relief work, picks up his first victory as a New York Met. His overall record now 2-3 on the year. And Jim Gott, with a disastrous 8th inning, suffers the loss. He falls to 5-4. Our guests on the program this evening receive the Professional Home Protection Starter Kit by Black & Decker, compliments of True Value Hardware stores and home centers. And this is Steve Zabriskie for Ralph Kiner and Tim McCarver, inviting you to be with us again tomorrow afternoon when once again the Mets take on the Pittsburgh Pirates right here from Three River Stadium beginning at 1:30 Eastern Time on WWOR-TV. The executive producer of Mets Baseball 88 is Rick Miner. Tonight's game produced and directed by Jeff Mitchell. Our associate producer, Steve Olbaum. The announcers on the preceding telecast were approved and contracted for by Sterling Doubleday Enterprises. Mets Baseball is a production of Channel 9 Sports. From Three Rivers in Pittsburgh till tomorrow afternoon, good evening, everybody.